back. Welcome back to the Road Trip Kingdom Builders Road Trippers. Akeem and Akatim. Brothers, sisters, mothers, fathers, aunties, and uncles, grandmas, and grandpas, everybody in the house. Shalom, shalom, peace and blessings to each and every single one of you, right? Your homes, your dwelling places, where you stay at, right? That's right, man. Your children, your friends, your loved ones, your pets, all the little fur babies, all that stuff that means so much, the stuff that you need in your life, Mishpachah. That's right, fam. All right, man. I'm praying for all that for you. How you feeling this morning or evening or afternoon or whenever you're picking this up? Hope you're doing all right. Been praying for you. Been thinking about you. All right. Been meditating in the word. All right. All praises to the Most High. Dipping in. All praises to the Most High. Abana Yahweh, right? Bahashem Yahweh Shai. Glory to Yahweh Shai. Honors to the Ruach HaKodesh. My love and my respect goes out to each and every single one of you, Kingdom Builder. That's right, man. That is right. So, look, man, we're here on this glorious grand rising of a Thursday morning. Hallelujah. All right. You can't stop the work of the Most High. You can't stop it. It's like a train, man. You know what I'm saying? It takes a lot. It takes a lot to start the train, but at the end of the day, you can't stop it. All right. Okay. Dipped in, washed up, bathed in, right? Bathed in this water. And I would be bathed in fire, but I got to engineer something for that. I can't go ahead and keep burning that until I figure something else out. But you guys know we're back in the book of Enoch. This is going to be chapter 90. Chapter 90, all right? And chapter 90 is actually the last chapter that's going to finish up section 4. And then we'll be going into section 5, the last section of Enoch, which is called the Epistle of Enoch, all right? And from there, we're going to go ahead and finish out the book of Enoch. And then we're going to get into Jubilees. All right. Yeah, I think we'll be in Jubilees later this evening, possibly. I don't know. We'll see, though. All right. You got a few moments if you want to get your scrolls out and follow along with me. I don't know how long this is going to be. I'm not really here for that. I'm just going to tell you I'm going to read until we get it done. All right. All right. No further ado. Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats, man. This is going to be the book of Enoch, chapter 90. Let's begin.
All right. Take them back.
Chapter 90, and it reads, "And I saw until that, in this manner 35 shepherds undertook the pasturing of the sheep, and they severally completed their periods, as did the first, and others received them into their hands to pasture them for their period, each shepherd in his own period. And after that I saw in my vision all the birds of heaven coming, the eagles, the vultures, the kites, the ravens. The eagles led all the birds, and they began to devour those sheep, and to pick out their eyes, and to devour their flesh. And the sheep cried out because their flesh was being devoured by the birds. And as for me, I looked and lamented. I lamented in my sheep over that shepherd who pastured the sheep. And I saw until those sheep were devoured by the dogs and eagles and kites. And they left neither flesh nor skin nor sinew remaining on them, until only their bones stood there. And their bones too fell to the ground, and the sheep became few. And I saw until that 23 had undertaken the pasturing and completed in their several periods 58 times. But behold, lambs were born by those white sheep, and they began to open their eyes and to see, and to cry to the sheep. Yea, they cried to them, but they did not hearken to what they said to them, but were exceedingly deaf, and their eyes were very exceedingly blinded. And I saw in the vision how the ravens flew upon those lambs, and took one of those lambs, and dashed the sheep in pieces, and devoured them. And I saw until horns grew upon those lambs, and the ravens cast down their horns. And I saw until there sprouted a great horn of one of those sheep, and their eyes were opened. And it looked at them, and their eyes opened, and it cried to the sheep, and the rams saw it, and all ran to it. And notwithstanding all this, those eagles and vultures and ravens and kites still kept tearing the sheep and swooping down upon them and devouring them. Still the sheep remained silent, but the rams lamented and cried out. And those ravens fought and battled with it, and sought to lay low its horn, but they had no power over it. And I saw till the shepherd and eagles and those vultures and kites came, and they cried to the ravens that they should break the horn of that ram. And they battled and fought with it, and it battled with them, and cried that its help might come. And I saw till that man who wrote down the names of the shepherds and carried up into the presence of the Most High of the sheep came and helped it and showed it everything. He had come down for the help of that ram, Salake. And I saw till the Most High of the sheep came until them in wrath, and all who saw him fled, and they all fell into his shadow from before his face. All the eagles and vultures and ravens and kites were gathered together, and there came with them all the sheep of the field. Yea, they all came together and helped each other to break that horn of the ram. And I saw that man wrote the book according to the command of the Most High, till he opened that book concerning the destruction which those 12 last shepherds had wrought, and showed that they had destroyed much more than their predecessors before the Most High of the sheep. And I saw till the Most High of the sheep came unto them, and took in his hand the staff of his wrath, and smote the earth, and the earth clave asunder, and all the beasts and all the birds of the heaven fell from among those sheep, and were swallowed up in the earth, and it covered them. And I saw until a great sword was given to the sheep, and the sheep proceeded against all the beasts of the field to slay them, and all the beasts and the birds of the heaven fled before their face. And I saw until a throne was erected in the pasture land, and the Most High of the sheep sat himself thereon, and the other took the sealed books and opened those books before the Most High of sheep. And the Most High called those men the 7 first white ones, and commanded that they should bring before him, beginning with the first star, which led the way, all the stars whose privy members were like those of horses, and they brought them all before him. And he said to the man who wrote before him, being one of those 7 white ones, and said to him, Take those 70 shepherds to whom I delivered the sheep, and who, taking them on their own authority, slew more than I commanded them. And behold, they were all bound, I saw, and they all stood before him. 24. And the judgment was held first over the stars, and they were judged and found guilty, and went to the place of condemnation, and they were cast into an abyss, full of fire and flaming, and full of pillars of fire. And those 70 shepherds were judged and found guilty, and they were cast into that fiery abyss. And I saw at that time how a like abyss was opened in the midst of the earth, full of fire, and they brought those blinded sheep, and they were all judged and found guilty, and cast into this fiery abyss. And they found now this abyss was to the right of that house. And I saw those sheep burning, and their bones burning. And I stood up to see until they folded up that old house, and carried off all the pillars, and all the beams and ornaments of the house were at the same time folded up with it. And they carried it off, and laid it in a place in the south of the land. Sounds like 70 AD when they tore up the temple to me. That's what it sounds like to me. 29, and it reads, And I saw until the Most High of sheep brought a new house, greater and loftier than the first, and set it up in the place of the first, which had beer folded up. All of its pillars were new, and its ornaments were new, and larger than those of the first. The old one, which he had taken away, and all the sheep were within it. And I saw all the sheep which had been left, and all the beasts on the earth, and all the birds of the heaven, falling down and doing homage to those sheep, and making petition to and obeying them in everything. And thereafter those 3 who were clothed in white, and had seized me by my hand, who had taken me up before, and the hand of that ram also seizing hold of me, they took me up, and set me down in the midst of those sheep before the judgment took place. And those sheep were all white, and their wool was abundant and clean. And all that had been destroyed and dispersed, and all the beasts of the field, and all the birds of the heaven assembled in that house, and the Most High of sheep rejoiced with great joy, because they were all good, and had returned to his house. And I saw until they laid down that sword, which had been given to the sheep, and they brought it back into the house, and it was sealed before the presence of the Most High. And all the sheep were invited into the house, but it held them not. And the eyes of them all were opened, and they saw the good, and there was not one among them that did not see. And I saw that the house was large and broad and very full. And I saw that a white bull was born, with large horns, and all the beasts of the field and all the birds of the air feared him, and made petition to him all the time. And I saw until all the generations were transformed, and they all became white bulls, and the first among them became a lamb, and the lamb became a great animal, and had great black horns on its head. And the Most High of sheep rejoiced over it, and over all the oxen. And I slept in their midst, and I awoke, and saw everything. This is the vision which I saw while I slept. And I awoke, and blessed the Most High of righteousness, and gave him glory. Then I wept with a great weeping, and my tears stayed not until I could no longer endure it. When I saw, they flowed on account of what I had seen, for everything will come and be fulfilled. and all the deeds of men in their order were shown to me. On that night I remembered the first dream, and because of it I wept and was troubled because I had seen that vision. That's the end of section 4, all right? It's Enoch, and also the end of chapter 90. All right. Hallelujah. And we're about to continue, family. All right. Hallelujah. All right, we're going to continue. We're going to go into section 5 now. This is the last section of the book of Enoch, section 5. Also called the Epistle of Enoch, starting at chapter 91. Keep your scrolls out. All right, we're going to continue. All right, chapter 91. And it reads, "And now, my son Methuselah, call to me all your brothers, and gather together to me all the sons of your mother, for the word calls me, and the Ruach is poured out upon me, that I may show you everything that will befall you before, forever. And thereupon Methuselah went and summoned to him all his brothers, and assembled his relatives. And he spoke unto all the children of righteousness, and said, Hear you, sons of Enoch, all the words of your father, and hearken to the voice of my mouth. For I exhort you, and say unto you, Beloved, love uprightness and walk therein, and draw not nigh to uprightness with a double heart, and associate not with those of a double heart, but walk in righteousness, my sons, and it will guide you on good paths, and righteousness will be your companion. For I know that violence must increase on the earth, and a great chastisement be executed on the earth. Yea, it will be cut off from its roots, and its whole structure be destroyed, and unrighteousness will again be consummated on the earth, Salake, and all the deeds of unrighteousness and the violence and transgression will prevail in a twofold degree. And when sin and unrighteousness and blasphemy and violence and all kinds of deeds increase, and apostasy and transgression and uncleanness increase, a great chastisement will come from heaven upon all these, and the Kodesh Most High will come out with wrath and chastisement to execute judgment on earth. In those days violence will be cut off from its roots, and the roots of unrighteousness together with deceit, and they will be destroyed from under heaven. And all the idols of the heaven will be abandoned, and the temples burned with fire, and they will remove them from the whole earth, and they will be cast into the judgment of fire, and will perish in wrath and in grievous judgment forever. And the righteous will arise from their sleep, and wisdom will arise and be given unto them. And after that the roots of unrighteousness will be cut off, and the sinners will be destroyed by the sword, and will be cut off from the blasphemers in every place. And those who plan violence, and those who commit blasphemy will perish by the sword. And after that there will be another, the 8th week of that of righteousness, right? And a sword will be given to it, that a righteous judgment may be executed on the oppressors, and sinners will be delivered into the hands of the righteous. And at its close they will acquire houses through their righteousness, and a house will be built for the great king, and glory forevermore. And all mankind will look to the path of uprightness. And after that, in the 9th week, the righteous judgment will be revealed to the whole world, and all the works of the godless will vanish from all the earth, and the world will be written down for destruction. Verse 15. And after this, in the 10th week, in the 7th part, there will be a great eternal judgment, in which he will execute vengeance among the angels. And the first heaven will depart and pass away, and a new heaven will appear, and all the powers of the heaven will give sevenfold light. And after that, there will be many weeks without number forever, and all will be in goodness and righteousness, and sin will no more be mentioned forever. And now I tell you, my sons, and show you the path of righteousness and the paths of violence. Yea, I will show them to you again, that you may know what will come to pass. And now hearken unto me, my sons, and walk in the paths of righteousness, and walk not in the paths of violence, for all who walk in the paths of upright and unrighteousness will perish forever. That's the end of chapter 91. All right, cool. All right, chapter 92. Let's continue, and it reads, The book written by Enoch. Enoch indeed wrote this complete doctrine of wisdom, which is praise of all men, and a judge of all the earth. For all my children who will dwell on the earth, and for the future generations who will observe uprightness and peace. Let not your ruach be troubled on account of times. For the Kodesh and Great One has appointed days for all things. And the righteous one will arise from sleep, will arise, and walk in the paths of righteousness, and all his paths and conversation will be in eternal goodness and grace. He will be gracious to the righteous, and give him eternal uprightness. And he will give him power, so that he will be endowed with goodness and righteousness. And he will walk in eternal light, and sin will perish in darkness forever, and will no more be seen from that day forevermore. That's the end of chapter 92. All right. Cool, man. All right, you want to get 93? Let's go ahead and let's do that. All right, man. Chapter 93, and it reads, "And after that Enoch both gave and began to recount from the books. And Enoch said concerning the children of righteousness, and concerning the elect of the world, and concerning the plant of uprightness, I will speak these things. Yea, I Enoch will declare them unto you, my sons, according to that which appeared to me in the heavenly vision, and which I have known through the word of the Kodesh angels, and have learnt from the heavenly tablets. And Enoch began to recount from the books, and said, I was born the 7th in the 1st week, while judgment and righteousness still endured. And after me there will arise in the 2nd week great wickedness, and deceit will have sprung up. And in it there will be the first end. And in it a man will be saved, and after it is ended, unrighteousness will grow up, and a law will be made for the sinners. And after that, in the 3rd week, as it close, a man will be elected as the plant of righteous judgment, and his posterity will become the plant of righteousness forevermore. And after that, in the 4th week, as it close, visions of the Kodesh and righteous will be seen, and a law for all generations, and an enclosure will be made for them. And after that, in the 5th week, at its close, the house of glory and dominion will be built forever. And after that, in the 6th week, all who live in it will be blinded, and their hearts of all them will godlessly forsake wisdom. And in it a man will ascend, and at its close the house of dominion will be burnt with fire, and the whole race of the chosen root will be dispersed. And after that, in the 7th week, will an apostate generation arise, and many will be its deeds, and all its deeds will be apostate. And at its close will be elected the elect righteous of the eternal plant of righteousness, to receive sevenfold instruction concerning all his creation. For who is there of all the children of men that is able to hear the voice of the Kodesh one without being troubled? Who can do that? And who can think his thoughts? Who? And who is there that can behold all the works of heaven? Who? Right? And how should there be one who could behold the heaven? And who is there that could understand the things of heaven, and see a soul or a ruach, and could tell thereof, or ascend and see all their ends, and think them or do like them? Who? And who is there of all men that could know what is the breadth of the length of the earth, and to whom has been shown the measures of all of them? Who? Or is there anyone who could discern the length of the heaven, and how great it is height? How great is its height, and upon what it is founded? And how great is the number of the stars, and where all the luminaries rest? Where do they rest at, man? That's the end of chapter 93, by the way. All right, and we can go ahead and get 94 real quick. Yeah, let's do 94. Let's do 94. Chapter 94, and it reads, And now I say unto you, my sons, love righteousness and walk therein, for the paths of righteousness are worthy of exception, but the paths of unrighteousness will suddenly be destroyed and vanish. And to certain men of a generation will the paths of violence and death be revealed, and they will hold themselves afar from them, and will not follow them. And now I say unto you, the righteous walk not in the paths of wickedness, nor in the paths of death, and draw not nigh to them, lest you be destroyed. But seek and choose for yourselves righteousness and an elect life, and walk in the paths of peace, and you will live and prosper. And hold fast my words in the thoughts of your hearts, and suffer them not to be effaced from your hearts. For I know that sinners will tempt men to mistreat wisdom, so that no place may be found for her, and no manner of temptation may diminish. Woe to those who build unrighteousness and oppression, and lay deceit as a foundation, for they will be suddenly overthrown, and they will have no peace. Woe to those who build their houses with sin, for from all their foundations will they be overthrown, and by the sword will they fall. And those who acquire gold and silver in judgment suddenly will perish. Woe to you, you rich, for you have trusted in your riches, and from your riches will you depart, because you have not remembered the Most High in the days of your riches. You have committed blasphemy and unrighteousness, and have become ready for the day of slaughter, and the day of darkness, and the day of the great judgment. So I speak and declare unto you, he who has created you will overthrow you, and for your fall there will be no compassion, and your Creator will rejoice at your destruction. See? So he loves everybody, right? But your Creator is going to rejoice at your destruction? And your righteous ones in those days will be a reproach to the sinners and the godless. That's the end of chapter 94. So I got to say something. I want to ask a question to you out here. You whosoever believers. How come your doctrine doesn't align even with the Old Testament? It doesn't align with the Apocrypha, and it doesn't align with the New Testament. Where are y'all getting this doctrine from? Where are y'all getting this information from? That he just loves everybody and everybody's brothers. That's not what it says here. I'm going to go back to chapter 94, verse 10. I'm going to read it to the door and see what you think about it. Verse 10, and it says, "So I speak and declare unto you, he who has created you will overthrow you, and for your fall there will be no compassion, and your creator will rejoice at your destruction, and your righteous ones in those days will be a reproach to the sinners and the godless." That doesn't sound like kumbaya. That doesn't sound like everybody's in the house. That doesn't sound like we're all holding hands. It doesn't sound like we're all together to me. It sounds like division and derision and sedition and a whole bunch of things that aren't kumbaya. That's not kumbaya. That's not kumbaya. Anyway, let's continue. Enoch. Man, there is no kumbaya. Enoch, chapter 95. And it reads, "Oh, that mine eyes were a cloud of waters, that I might weep over you and pour down my tears as a cloud of waters, that so I might rest from my trouble of heart. Who has permitted you to practice reproaches and wickedness? And so judgment will overtake you, sinners. Fear not the sinners, you righteous, for again will the Most High deliver them into your hands, that you may execute judgment upon them according to your desires." Wow! Kumbaya? All right, yeah, right. 4, and it reads, "Woe to you who fulminate anathemas, which cannot be reversed. Healing will therefore be far from you because of your sins. Woe to you who requite your neighbor with evil, for you will be requited according to your works. Woe to you, lying witnesses, and to those who weigh out injustice, for suddenly will you perish. Woe to you, sinners, for you persecute the righteous, for you will be delivered up and persecuted because of injustice, and heavy will its yoke be upon you." That's the end of chapter 95. All right. Go ahead and squeeze 96 in here too. I was going to do that too. All right, family. Chapter 96. What does it say? What does it say, you say? Well, I'm going to tell you what it says, family. Chapter 96, and it reads, "Be hopeful, you righteous, for suddenly will the sinners perish before you, and you will have lordship over them according to your desires. And in that day of tribulation of sinners, your children will mount and rise as eagles, and higher than the vultures will be your nest. And you will ascend and enter the crevices of the earth and the clefts of the rock, forever as conies before the unrighteous, and the sirens will sigh because of you and weep. So fear not, you that have suffered, for healing will be your portion, and a bright light will enlighten you, and the voice of rest you will hear from heaven. Woe unto you, you sinners, for your riches make you appear like the righteous, but your hearts convict you of being sinners. And this fact will be a testimony against you for a memorial of your evil deeds. Woe to you who devour the finest of the wheat, and drink wine in large bowls, and tread underfoot the lowly with your might. Woe to you who drink water from every fountain, for suddenly will you be consumed and wither away, because you have forsaken the fountain of life. Woe to you who work unrighteousness and deceit and blasphemy. It will be a memorial against you for evil. Woe to you, you mighty, who with might oppress the righteous. For the day of your destruction is coming, and those days many and good days will come to the righteous in the day of your judgment." That's the end of chapter 96. All right. Oh, man, I think I got time for 97, too. All right, yeah, we're going to get 97 to the door. We're going to finish up with 97. All right, you ready? Let's go. 97, and it reads, "Believe, you righteous, that the sinners will become ashamed and perish in the day of unrighteousness. Be it known unto you, ye sinners, that the Most High is mindful of your destruction, and the angels of heaven rejoice over your destruction. What will you do, you sinners, and where will you flee on that day of judgment, when you hear the voice of the prayer of the righteous? Oh, yea, you will fare like unto them, against whom this word will be a testimony. You have been companions of sinners, and in those days the prayer of the righteous will reach unto the Most High, and for you the days of your judgment will come, and all the words of your unrighteousness will be read out before the great Kodesh one, and your faces will be covered with shame, and he will reject every work which is grounded on unrighteousness. Woe to you, you sinners, who live on the mid-ocean and on the dry land, whose remembrance is evil against you. Woe to you who acquire silver and gold in unrighteousness, and say, we have become rich with riches, and have possessions, and have acquired everything we have desired. And now let us do what we purposed, right? For we have gathered silver, and many are the husbandmen in our houses. In our granaries, right? Our granaries are brimful. as with water. Yea, and like water, your lies will flow away. For your riches will not abide, but speedily ascend from you. For you have acquired it all in unrighteousness, and you will be given over to a great curse. That's the end of chapter 97. We're going to go ahead and close that up there, and we're going to package this up. We'll start back again on chapter 98, and we'll punch through, right? Yeah, man. Punch through. Oh, my goodness, man. Yeah. Okay, on the next read-through, maybe 2 more read-throughs, we'll be done with Enoch, okay? So, yeah. I hope y'all have a great day today. May the Most High protect, guide, and direct you in everything that you do. You know what I'm saying? Keep your head up and your feet down. That's right. In the meantime, in between time, shalom, shalom. Peace and blessings to each and every single one of you, your homes, your dwelling places, your loved ones, children, friends, and pets. That's right, Akeem and Akatim, brothers and sisters, mothers, fathers, aunties and uncles, grandmas and grandpas. Man, I love y'all. Please be safe out there. I'll see y'all soon. All praises to the Most High. All praises to Yahweh. I love you. Yeah.